Hi there, it's Stephanie again from the Learning Bar to read a book with you today. Today I'm going to be reading a book called Exploring Art. And this is an amazing book. I learned a lot of things about First Nations art in this book and Aboriginal art. It's incredible. It's beautiful. I'm not going to tell you what's on the front cover, what this is. Some of you may know. I didn't know until I read the book, but we will see it later on in the book and then you'll see. While I'm reading the book, though, I want you to think about different words that you hear while I'm reading. Today, we're going to be talking about syllables and how many syllables or main parts that you hear are in a word. For example, a word that has one syllable would be a word like tree. Tree. It has more than one letter, but it only has one main sound when you say it. Tree. One syllable. Just like dog or cat. Now, if you take my name, Stephanie, it has three distinct parts that we can break apart and we can hear every section. My name has three syllables and we can do it together. We can clap it out. Steph, Ann, E. Stephanie. So it has three syllables. So as I read this book, every now and again, I'm going to stop and I'm going to talk about a word and how many syllables it has. So let's get started. Exploring Art by Robert Cutting. This book is incredible. What is art? Is art a painting or a drawing? Is art something you wear? Is art something you build or carve? Art can be all of these things. The people of Turtle Island have created art for thousands of years. In the past, artists created art using materials found in nature. They used shells, porcupine quills, and tree bark. The artists of Turtle Island still use these materials. They also use a lot of new supplies. There are many different kinds of Aboriginal art. Here are just a few. I'll show you on the next page, but first I want to stop and show you these pictures from our opening section. And let's talk about a few words. For example, let's talk about what artists use. They use shells. Shells, that word, shells, shells. One syllable. What about porcupine? How many syllables does the word porcupine have? Let's break it down. We'll clap it out. Porcupine. Porcupine, it has three syllables. And then quills, for porcupine, quills. Quills, again, like shells, like tree, like cat, like dog. It has one syllable, shells. You can hear more than one sound, but when you say the word, it has one main part, one syllable, shells. Let's see what kind of different art we can see. Oh, sculpture. Have you ever made a shape using clay? Then you have made a sculpture. Sculptures can be made by shaping soft materials like clay. They can also be made by carving hard materials like stones. And stone sculptures are very, very common. I just wanted to show you this one page. See the plasticine bug that was made? It's pretty cute. Maybe a ladybug. And there's someone getting ready to carve into a hard piece of stone. It looks like a piece of soapstone. Inuit in the north have been carving sculptures for thousands of years. They carve stones and bones. Sculptures are often carved in the shape of people or animals. Inuit sculpture shows a dancing bear here carved out of soapstone, which I'll show you when I finish reading this page, because then they highlight a modern artist. Kaiwakashuna. Kaiwakashuna is an Inuit sculptor. His art has won many awards. One of his sculptures even appeared on a Canadian stamp. And here's the artist here. This is a soapstone sculpture of a dancing bear. That's what they call it. I actually have one of these sculptures myself from Baffin Island. And here's the artist and his two beautiful owls. And he sculpted those out of a dark soapstone. Beautiful. And then he polished that to make it really shiny and smooth. It's beautiful. And that's very common in Nunavut to find soapstone carvings. They're beautiful. Lots of different animals, mostly animals. And I also have some bone carvings made out of caribou bone as well from Nunavut. Painting. Have you ever painted a picture? Have you ever had your face painted? People all over the world have been painting for thousands and thousands of years. In the past, people painted to record history and to mark territory. Today, there are many reasons to paint. Some people paint for enjoyment. Some paint to tell stories. Fact. Getting paint wasn't always easy. In the past, artists made their own. They used things they found in nature. Plants, shells, and even fish eggs were used to make paint. That's so interesting. And this book is full of facts like that. Every few pages will come across a fact about maybe traditional art or traditional art resources. Actually, one time I wanted to dye some unbleached cotton, and I wanted to dye it to make curtains and make a funky pattern, and I didn't want to use the type of dye that you find in a store. So I actually used tea bags, and I steeped a few tea bags in a great big sink in hot water, took the tea bags out. It was kind of that nice tea color, and I put my cotton in there, and it came out to a really cool, like a very light creamy tea color. My cotton curtains, it worked out really well. I liked it. And people have used berries and other things as a dye as well, and to paint with. Winter count. The Lakota and other plains peoples painted pictures on animal skins. They were called winter counts. The pictures showed important events. The winter counts were passed down by families. They were like beautiful history books. Oh, they would be. They'd be amazing. And then there's another section here on a modern artist called April White. April White is a Haida painter. She uses red and black paint in a lot of her work. These colors are common in traditional Haida art. April's paintings can be seen in galleries all over North America. And there's this one picture which I'll show you, and it's the Summer Solstice by April White. It's incredible. And there's April. Here's the Summer Solstice painting. Here's some beautiful winter count painting on an animal skin, which is incredible. Just the color. And yes, they would be like history books. They'd be amazing. I'd love to see something like that. This is something that's exciting that I didn't learn until I've read this book. Birch bark biting. Have you ever bitten birch bark? Believe it or not, you can create beautiful patterns by biting birch bark. Birch bark artists fold a thin layer of bark. They gently bite down on the bark using at least 2 teeth. They slowly rotate the bark. Then a perfect pattern is left when they unfold the bark. And it shows a picture here of a girl named Cherish Parrish. She creates a birch bark biting. I'll show you this side of the book so you can see that. That's incredible to me. What a wonderful idea. Birch bark biting is one of the oldest First Nations art forms. It was practiced wherever birch bark was found. This art form was used to record stories and to create patterns for beading and quill work. It was also done just for fun. Modern artist, Pat Bruderer. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. Pat Bruderer is a Nehiyaw artist. A Nehiyaw artist. She is one of only very few birch bark artists today. She is known for creating beautiful patterns. Pat teaches others about birch bark biting so it will not be forgotten. And this is her picture. And this is the picture that we see on the front cover of the book. That's why it's amazing. Look at that. So that's something else I call the magic page. When you find the picture inside the book that's the same as the front cover, I call that the magic page. So that's birch bark art from birch bark biting, which is incredible. There's another word, birch bark. How many syllables does that have? It's actually a compound word, so it has 2. Birch bark. Very cool. That's amazing. I would love to see some birch bark art. Beadwork. Have you ever had a necklace or bracelet made out of beads? Have you worn beaded clothing? Beads can also be put on a string. They can also be stitched onto fabric or leather using a needle. Beading is used to decorate many items. These items include everything from clothing worn during ceremonies to sporty running shoes. Beadwork designs are different depending on where an artist is from. Métis artists often make fancy floral patterns with beads. In the past, they used beads made from seeds and porcupine quills. Today, most artists use plastic or glass beads. Modern artist, Doreen Manuel. Doreen Manuel is a Shiwepim and Kutanaha artist. She also uses colorful beads to decorate clothing. She even decorates running shoes with her fancy beadwork. This is incredible. I have wanted a pair of Métis beaded gloves for years now, so I look forward to the opportunity to be able to get a pair someday. And then look at the sneaker that she did. Doreen beaded that obviously onto her sneaker, her daughter's sneaker, someone's sneaker. Beautiful. The skill that takes and the patience. This is another art form that I've just learned about by reading this book, and it's incredible. Tufting. Did you know that moose and caribou hair can be used to create beautiful art? Welcome to the art of tufting. First, artists take a small bunch of dyed moose or caribou hair. They place it on a canvas. A needle and thread are used to make a loop around the tuft of hair. The thread is then pulled tightly and knotted. This causes the hair to stand up straight. The hair can then be sculpted or cut to make amazing pictures. Inuit, Métis, and many First Nations, such as Denisulane, have used tufting. They have decorated clothing, moccasins, bags, and other items. Tufting is a popular art form among Aboriginal peoples. Modern artist, Nancy Hager. Nancy Hager is an artist from Nacho Nyakdun First Nation. She uses natural and dyed moose hair to create beautiful tuftings. Nancy taught herself how to tuft by looking at photographs, which again is incredible to me. Look at that. Look. That's either caribou or moose hair that's been tufted, trimmed, dyed. And look at this with the beads. And then there's Nancy Hager's flower, her tufted flower. I think that's absolutely amazing. And that she's self-taught. That's incredible to me. It's beautiful work. Digital art. Have you ever used a computer to draw a picture? Artists don't need canvases to create paintings anymore. They can use a computer. Pictures can be drawn using a mouse or even a tablet. The tablet is attached to a computer. Then the artist draws on the tablet. The drawing shows up on the screen. Sculpting, painting, beading, and tufting are all traditional Aboriginal art forms. Today, many artists are going digital. Some artists even find ways to bring traditional and digital art together. Modern artist, and she's one of my favorite artists, Buffy Sainte-Marie. She's amazing. She's a famous singer. Buffy Sainte-Marie from the Nihiwa is a Nihiwa digital artist. She was one of the first people to make art using a computer. Her digital art has been seen in galleries all over the world. And this picture is called Elder Brothers by Buffy Sainte-Marie. And we'll see two examples of digital art. This one up here at the top of the page, that's digital. And then there's Buffy Sainte-Marie with her digital art. And it's been seen all over the world. That's incredible. She's a beautiful singer as well. Singer, songwriter, poet, artist. She's incredible. She's a beautiful Canadian artist. And that's the end of our book. It finished with digital. But I still want you to think about, let's look back at some of these words and talk about syllables. Oh, computer. That's a good word. Computer. How many syllables does computer have? Let's clap it out. Com-pu-ter. 3. That has 3 syllables. Now I want you to practice at home. And you can practice with anything. You can practice with your name, the names of people in your family, and clap out how many syllables they have in their names. And then pick any word at all. Pick a traditional word, pick an English word, and clap out the syllables and make a game of it. See if you can find a word that has more syllables than maybe a word that your brother or sister, mom or dad picked. And maybe have a game of syllable wars or something like that. But play with words and just listen for how many sounds the word has and how many syllables it has. I always start with kids in the classroom, and we all go around and we sit in a circle and we clap out each other's names and to see how many syllables every person's name has. Like someone's name like Anna, 2 syllables. Another person's name like Jake, 1 syllable. So you can have fun with that. It was great reading with you again today. Hope to see you soon. Bye for now.